welcome to another Scottish mountain walking guide. In this video I'll explain the route taken while showing a 3D flyover of the route. This is followed by the full walk in time lapse, with the video and commentary included along the way. For today's walk I returned to Loch Traig to climb Stob Coire Sgriodain and Chno Dearg. And once again, as you'll see in the video, in snow and thick cloud the path can be very difficult to follow. A section of the approach is also very wet, boggy, peat and heather ground. The total distance for today's walk is 13.3 kilometres with 969 metres of ascent. It is expected to take around 5 hours to walk in the summertime. On the actual walk it took us 7 hours. Once again, parking is at the Loch Traig car park. Parking is free, there are no height restrictions and you can fit around 10 cars. There are signs up asking you not to camp overnight. It's around 3 hours drive from both Glasgow and Edinburgh, but if like me you have a breakdown then it might take you a little bit longer. I'd like to give a special thank you to the recovery drivers that picked me up and returned my van home after the engine kept cutting out. And it only took me 4 hours to get home, and that was with the recovery. That was some feat. The van is now booked in to the garage for repair. Today's walk is similar to the route that you'll find on Walk Highlands, and this is what I'm showing here. Although I changed it slightly on the descent, based on the conditions on the day and the visibility and the snow that was on the ground. I'm going to describe the route that I've taken and shown in the time lapse. I'll put links up to both routes. The other route is actually slightly shorter with slightly less ascent and would be fine for following in the summertime. So starting from the car park, you're going to head almost directly east following this path, and it goes by a couple of little cottages and a house over here. You're crossing over the river and over a railway bridge. Follow that road, go straight ahead where this other road crosses over, and just continue to follow that road. You'll go by a few other little houses. You'll come out at the end of the row of houses and there's a farm that's around about here, and once you pass that farm it's the next junction on your right. And you're going to see some sheep pens here and a little outbuilding over here somewhere. So you're going to turn right at that point, and it looks like you're walking into a field. Quite short grass at this point, but then around about here there's a lot more heather. You'll probably see that in the satellite image at the side. So you're following a faint path at this point, and it's very wet, boggy ground you're crossing, and it's going up alongside the side of a little stream. And then you'll come to this point here, the main path continues straight on. In the video I think I walked a bit too far and I missed a turn off, so I actually crossed over from about here and joined the path. And you can see the path, but it is a lot less used than the main path going up here, so there's not as much wear, it's not as visible. But you want to head directly south and just make your way, and you're climbing up here. There is a little bit of altitude that you're climbing up through the little sort of rolling hills at this point. And just keep following that path, continue to head south, and then it's going to get quite a bit steeper here as you're climbing up and a bit rockier. It's hard to tell if we managed to keep following the path because of all the snow, and there were certainly at points you could tell that you were on the path and you could see clear signs of a path, and other points not so sure. None of this requires scrambling. It does get a little bit steeper at times, but you just keep heading south and you just keep ascending up the mountain. Just here at the 800 metre mark, and at that point it eases off considerably and it's a much more pleasant walk, and you're just gradually rising up. As you come along to this point here, there are some large crags. It could easily get snowed over, and you could, if you're not careful, if you're too close to your right hand side, too close to the loch over here, there are some big drops. So you just want to be careful as you're working your way around here. Very steep cliffy edge on this side. And then you come round up to the summit here. It's got a reasonably large cairn at the top, and on the walk we had nice clear views at this point. Unfortunately, whilst I was at the summit the cloud came in, and then after that didn't get to see any more sky until it descended to about 750 metres. From the summit you continue to head south, and you're walking along, you're pretty much walking along the top of the ridge. It zigzags a little bit. There's a little bit that's steep just coming up, I think around about here, but nothing too difficult and nothing exposed at all going along here. And you follow that as it starts to bend to the east, and you'll come to this large long beelach. It undulates a little bit on the beelach, but as you're turning more, starting to head towards the northeast. And then you've got a short climb to the second summit up here. We were doing this in complete cloud, so there's nothing to see, no features. and then you come to a large cairn at the top. From there you start heading northwest. Now the path, if we go to the Walk Highlands version, you can see the path is northwest, maybe northwest, and then it goes straight back down to here. But because it was in cloud, it was much easier to see this feature here where the river is, and so I changed course and just headed straight down to that river. There is a marked path on the OS maps and also on the Garmin maps that comes up to this point, and once you get down to the stream here it's easy to follow the river. I actually went down on the right hand side, there was a faint path on that side and I could see a path on the other side as well. So you follow the stream down a bit, then you get a couple more streams you cross over, and then once you get back to here, this bit was more worn because most of the walkers that were ascending the mountain came all the way up this path to this point and then cut across. So then you follow that, you're just heading north, northeast, then retrace your steps. Once you join back up to the path that you approached, back down to the cottages, turn to your left and then walk right back out to the car park. Good morning, I'm back at the Loch Traig car park. This time I'm going to climb the two Munros to the east of Loch Traig. First one's clear, second one's in cloud at the moment. Car park's a bit busier this week. From the car park you head directly east and go round by that house over there. Follow the road as it crosses over this river using the bridge. And then we're going to cross the railway track just ahead. At this road junction, keep to your right, and we're going to go straight ahead on the right here for about half a kilometre. Again, at this point you keep to the right. The path that's going along the edge of the hillside here. When you come to this point you'll see some sheep pens and a little outbuilding on the right hand side, and we're just coming to the junction where the path breaks off to the right, and we're going to start heading straight up the mountain. From here you're heading almost directly south. Just looking across at the Ascent from last week and then looking up for today's walk. This section of the ground is quite wet and boggy, and for parts of it the path is hard to distinguish. I'm on a little bit of an ATV track at the moment, which is making it a little bit easier to follow. Just double checked my position on the GPS and it looks like I'm on the wrong path. I want to be one that's just slightly further over to the right. This one takes you up to the loch-in that's in between both Munros. It's quite easy to follow this path, but I want to try and see if we find the proper route, which is slightly over there. Okay, so that didn't take very long to get right on the path, but as you can see it is a very faint trail. So the two paths are very close to each other back there, and you can probably make it out. You can see the path line there. So just head south from here. Just after coming up that little steep bit, you want to bend round to the right a little bit. But we're really just going straight up there. I can see a couple of people. Yeah, just there. It's not to say they're necessarily on the right path, but it's up that way. Just looking back, coming around this little bog, there's not much of a path to follow, but it does look like I should be aiming for the right hand side there with a bit of rocks and then bend round to the left again. Also, I think I see signs of Weir going straight up there, but we'll go this way. You can see there's been a bit of snowfall since last week's video. There's a little bit more of a defined path here, but it's certainly not the easiest or most clear to follow. For the moment, we keep to the left of this stream that's running down here. We cross over the river, not far from here, just up there a little bit. Pretty much impossible to follow the path with this snow. Looking at the map and looking at the GPS, I really just want to be heading kind of straight up and aiming for that light patch where the bright light is on the mountainside, aiming for that, and then you follow that to the right slightly, just going up there. I can see footprints over there. It might be just as easy to follow those footprints. You can see people have continued up that ATV track I was on earlier and then cut across, and it may well be the easier way to navigate. It was a more well-worn path. I'm currently at 650 metres. The next 150 metres of altitude, it gets a bit steeper, as you can see directly ahead. After that it eases off a bit, but you've still got some altitude to gain to get to the top, which is about 950 metres. So about 300 metres to go. The summit over there looks clear today, only just. Just come over the steepest section. I'm at 800 metres and coming into some light clouds at the moment, which dramatically lowers the temperature. So 150 metres to go to the summit in altitude, and a little bit easier walk now, just once we get over that little rocky bit in front of us. I've got about 900 metres to walk along this ridge to get to the first top. But what a difference it makes. Even though we're in some light cloud, there's almost no wind or no breeze at all. Actually, there's absolutely no wind. Very pleasant walk. .600 metres to the top in distance. Still perfectly calm. A little bit of blue sky. Yeah, the clouds starting to clear slightly. You can make out the summit just. Still a little bit of cloud. Some thin cloud between here and there. Sun's actually nice and warm. Still no breeze. And there's the other top over there. Did that walk a week too early. It'd be lovely over there today. It's lovely here. Just a little bit to go to get to the summit. Almost at the summit. There's a couple of people on top just over there. It's nice and clear at the moment. And we're looking across Loch Traig and then across to the Ascent over there. So straight ahead of the Ascent, a little bit to the right of the grey corries. And as you're climbing up the Ascent, without clouds on a clear day, you get an amazing view into the corries. Almost at the summit now. Just a gentle walk from here to there. And the second Munros is clear at the moment. You do want to be careful in the winter. Make sure you're standing on something solid. This crevasse here could easily be snowed over a bit more and you might not notice. Oh, some clouds coming in. At the summit of Stob Coire Sgriodain. Clouds coming in and out at the moment. Still get some amazing views. See the grey corries over there. From here you continue south and then it's going to descend and then curve round to the next top. So from the summit you're heading south, just towards that little flat rock over there. Clouds coming in a little bit. Still feeling some nice warmth from the sun. You want to follow around the ridge, keeping a little bit to the right hand side of the ridge as you're going round here, but in the light cloud it's quite difficult to follow the path. There are some other footprints here, just need to keep an eye on the GPS. At this point the path goes round to the right and then goes over the ridge, but sometimes it's just easier to follow other people's footsteps when you're in snow. So I dare say we'll just go straight ahead because it does curve back to the left. I've come to a little cairn here. This is the highest point along the ridge. It's not as high as the Munro, it's about 10 metres shorter. But it's the highest point before we start to drop off. And we're going to drop down, but it's only about 50 metres to the Bealach down there. And from that point, we've got 200 metres of ascent up to the next top. At the moment I'm heading directly east, almost at the lowest point of the Bealach. It's just ahead. From there it's a reasonable climb, curving up to your left to the next top. I'm around the lowest point of the Bealach. It may have just be back there, it might dip off just slightly ahead. As typical for the Bealach, there is a little bit of a breeze, but it's not anything to be concerned about. Just a gentle breeze. From here you continue east and just very slightly north of east, so a little bit left but mostly east. For this section I should have brought my snowshoes. Didn't realise there had been so much fresh snow falling since last week. And if you were doing this walk ahead of me today, thank you for making a path. It's hard work, even falling in the trail, never mind kicking out the footsteps in the first place. So well done, thanks very much. The cloud's getting thicker. I'm about 100 metres below the summit, about 700 metres in distance away. Been walking now for 4 hours. Took 3 hours to get to the first top. I'm going to stop. The wind's picking up a little bit, so I put my jacket on. I found a little seat, so I'm going to stop, have something to eat, have some hot tea before the final ascent to the second top. Up here it's amazing how cold it gets. A little bit more cloud, a little bit more wind, and suddenly you're starting to freeze. So I've put on waterproof trousers, waterproof jacket again, pair of gloves. At the summit of Chno Dearg, fair sized cairn on this one. Unfortunately, the cloud hasn't gone away, so really nothing to see. A little bit windier as well. From the summit, you're going to head directly north for a very short period, and then it's north-northwest. Should be a gentle decline all the way back down to the farm track road that we turned off this morning on. Just looking back up, I've been coming down a little bit too far to the left, so I need to turn a little bit right and get back onto where the path should be. Doesn't really matter too much because I could keep going straight ahead and it'll just take me back out, probably joining back up to the first path I went up. As long as you're heading north-northwest, you can't really go far wrong on this one. And that's definitely going to make things easier. Clouds just clearing up. So just go forward a wee bit, get over the edge here. Should be able to easily make my way back down with the visibility improved. The walk I was planning to do heads out that direction, and I can see somebody further ahead on the path. But just looking at the horizon, that little lock-in you can see there, that is directly behind the car park, and if I walk straight to that, there is the 4x4 sort of ATV track that I was going up at the beginning of the day, and I can easily join back onto that track, and that will be slightly quicker to get back, so I'm going to go that way. If I was to go straight for the lock-in down there, yeah, the ground looks a bit peaty, maybe a bit boggy. The Garmin map shows that 4x4 track going all the way up to this drop between here and that ridge over there. So I'm just turning a little bit more to the right, keeping to this grassy section, less likely to go up to my waist in snow. Yeah, it's nice over there in the sunshine. Got a little bit of snow coming down just now. Garmin map shows the track starting about 100 metres on the right hand side of this little stream that's going down here. So I'll just walk down here a little bit, hopefully be able to spot it under the snow. That's really nice over there. I've definitely joined a path here. You can see the hollow it makes in the landscape. It's not really much easier to walk along because it's so full of snow. The map shows the Garmin road, or the Garmin track on the other side, but it crosses over and joins up to this side just ahead. The track goes down the right hand side of this river for a little bit and then crosses over two rivers on the left hand side. So just need to keep an eye out for where that happens. I can see a line that looks like a path on the other side, but according to the map it's still 250 metres ahead before crossing to the left. So I'll just keep working my way down. So from here I'm just going to cross over the stream just there, and then just head straight ahead and just to the right of that little pointy bit that sticks up with the snow in it. So that bit in the centre of the frame now. I'm going to head for there. Yeah, the summit's cleared again. That track now bends to the left, and so it heads off in this direction for a little bit. We may even see some footprints with the people that climbed the Munro going up that track to start with. I've definitely found the track now. There's footprints from people that went up this morning. Not really making it any easier because of the snow and the rocks. It's just very uneven. So we're heading back down towards that farmhouse there. So you can see it, that one there. Back down towards there. From here, the OS map shows a path going down the side of that stream. So you can see footprints from this morning, and then the zigzag back down. So I think I just keep to the left of that stream and it takes you all the way back down to the sheep pens at the start. All of this peat and heather is very wet and boggy. Lots of splashing as you're walking along. Not too much further to go through this, and we'll get back to the road. It was around about this point I turned off this path earlier this morning and cut across to the right. I just keep following this path back down to the farm. Yeah, one last look back at the Munros. So from here it's straightforward back to the car park. You can see the gravel road down there. Head down to the road, turn to the left and just follow that back out. Thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video. It was good to get some more views this week. Quite a slog. In the winter this is quite a tough walk. I'm back at the car park. That's 6 hours and 45 minutes since I left. You can see it's quite busy today. Bye for now.